This is Theo Marsh. Every morning he wakes up with real intentions. The gym before work, the portfolio he's been meaning to finish for 2 years, the 10 pages of a novel he swears he'll read before bed instead of after. And nearly every morning he reaches for his phone to check the time and somehow surfaces 90 minutes later, thumb still moving, having learned nothing worth keeping, and quietly compared his entire life to several hundred people he has never met. He knows it's happening. That's the strange part. He isn't confused about the mechanism. He's read the articles about dopamine and infinite scroll. He's tried the grayscale trick. He's set app timers. He clicks straight through without reading. None of it seems to matter in the actual moment. The moment always feels like just 5 minutes, and the 5 minutes always turns out to be a lie that he tells himself with total conviction every single time. His friend Owen, watching him check his phone for the 4th time in 10 minutes over lunch, finally says something. "You put your phone away whenever you talk to me," Owen says, "and then 20 seconds later, it's back in your hand. I don't think you're actually choosing to do that." Theo laughs it off, but it stays with him longer than he expects. Theo works a job he doesn't hate exactly, but doesn't want either. Steady, forgettable. Not what he pictured for himself at this age. 2 years ago, he decided he was going to build a portfolio and switch into design work, something that actually used the part of his brain that felt alive. He bought the software, he watched the first 4 tutorials, and somewhere in the 2 years since, evenings that were supposed to belong to that portfolio kept dissolving into his phone instead. Not because he decided to give up on it, exactly, but because the phone was always right there and starting felt hard, and scrolling felt like nothing at all. He'd tried discipline, real discipline, the kind where he deleted the apps entirely for a week, felt proud of himself, and then reinstalled all of them on a Thursday night after a bad day at work, telling himself it would just be temporary. It was never temporary. What confused him most was that he wasn't lazy in every direction. He could focus for hours on a video game or a long conversation, or even occasionally the portfolio itself once he actually got moving. It was only the getting moving part that seemed to have some invisible wall around it, and the phone was always sitting right on the other side, offering an easier door. It was on one of his lunchtime walks, the ones he'd started taking specifically to get away from his desk and his phone for 20 minutes with only partial success, that Theo first noticed the old man by the pond. He was sitting on a bench, an old glass jar in his hands, half full of cloudy pond-colored water. He wasn't drinking it, he wasn't doing anything with it as far as Theo could tell. He was simply holding it, looking at it, the way someone might look at a fire. Theo passed him 3 more times that week before curiosity finally beat his usual instinct to keep walking. "Can I ask what you're doing with that?" Theo said. "Waiting," the old man said without looking up. "For what?" "You'll see if you sit here long enough." Theo almost kept walking. Instead, mostly to prove to himself he could sit somewhere without pulling out his phone for 5 straight minutes, he sat. His name, Theo would learn, was Master Feng, a retired teacher who'd spent 30 years lecturing on philosophy before deciding, in his words, that he'd rather practice it than explain it to teenagers who weren't listening. "Can I ask you something?" Theo said eventually. "You look like someone with a lot of patience. I don't have any. I plan to do something every single day, and I end up on my phone instead. And I don't understand why knowing exactly what's happening doesn't stop it from happening." Master Feng held up the jar. The water inside was still cloudy, gray-brown, impossible to see through. "Watch this," he said, and shook it, hard 3 or 4 times, the cloud thickening, swirling. "What is that supposed to show me?" "Your mind," Master Feng said. Every time you check the phone. I don't follow, Theo said. This water is pond water, Master Feng said. Left alone, it clears on its own. The silt settles, the light gets through, you can see straight to the bottom. That's not something you have to force. It's what water does given the chance. But every time something disturbs it, a hand, a stick, a stone thrown in, it clouds again and has to start settling all over from the beginning. He set the jar down on the bench between them, still swirling, and they both watched it for a moment. Your mind does the same thing, Master Feng continued. Left alone for even a short stretch, it settles. Thoughts arrange themselves. You can actually see what you're trying to do and why, and what the next real step is. But every time you check the phone, even for what feels like 5 seconds, you're putting your hand back in the jar. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are for the next 5 minutes. You've disturbed it again. It has to start over. So the problem isn't that I don't have willpower. Willpower is what people reach for when they don't understand the actual mechanism, Master Feng said. You've been trying to force clear water by wanting it clear harder. That's not how settling works. Nobody has ever willed muddy water clean through sheer determination. You simply stop disturbing it and wait. This is worth pausing on because it isn't just a nice metaphor. It's a precise explanation for why willpower fails at exactly this kind of habit, and it's worth understanding exactly how. There's an old teaching in Taoist thought that says almost exactly what Master Feng just said. Who can wait quietly while the mud settles? Who can remain still until the right moment simply arrives on its own? In Taoist thought, this idea has a name, Wu Wei. The same idea, in fact, behind water, finding its way around a stone without forcing itself straight through it. It's often mistranslated as doing nothing, which makes people hear it as an excuse for passivity, giving up, letting life happen to you, checking out entirely. That's not what it means at all. Wu Wei means non-interference. Not adding force where force only makes things worse. Checking your phone during a hard task doesn't feel like force. It feels like nothing, like a small break, like relief. But it's still a hand going into the water. The water doesn't know the difference between a hand that's trying to help and a hand that's only bored. It knows one thing: it's been disturbed, and now it has to start settling all over again. That sounds like it's just telling me to try harder at doing nothing, Theo said. It's telling you the opposite, Master Feng said. Trying is a disturbance too. The trick isn't effort in a new direction. It's fewer hands in the jar. There's an old story about a fisherman, Master Feng said, who couldn't understand why he never caught anything when the man fishing beside him in the exact same water pulled in fish all afternoon. The first fisherman was diligent. Every few minutes, worried the fish weren't biting, he'd reel his line all the way in, check the bait, recast it a little to the left, a little to the right, certain that adjustment was the answer. All day, constant small corrections, nothing. The second fisherman cast his line once in the morning and let it sit. He didn't check it every few minutes. He watched the water. Some hours nothing happened at all, and he didn't seem bothered by that either. By evening, the first fisherman finally asked him how he'd done it. The second fisherman said, "You keep pulling your line out to see if a fish is there. Every time you do, you clear the water around it and scare away anything that was getting close. I only pulled mine out when something was actually pulling back. So checking constantly is the thing scaring away the fish," Theo said, "not the lack of fish." The fish were always there, Master Feng said. So was your ability to focus. You've just never given either one a stretch of undisturbed water long enough to show up in. This tracks with something researchers have actually measured, entirely apart from any Taoist framework. It's sometimes called attention residue. When you switch away from a task, even for a few seconds, even to glance at something completely unrelated, part of your attention stays behind on what you just left, and part of it sticks to whatever you glanced at. You don't fully arrive back at the first task afterward. You arrive partway, dragging pieces of both places with you. Do that enough times in an hour, and it stops mattering how much total time you spent trying to focus. Almost none of it was undisturbed long enough to actually work. Okay, Theo said, but the urge itself is real. It's not like I imagine wanting to check it. Something happens in my chest, almost, right before I reach for it. That's worth paying attention to, Master Feng said. What does it feel like right before? Theo thought about it honestly, for maybe the first time. Restless, he said, like something's uncomfortable and I want it to stop. Usually right when I'm about to start something hard, or when there's a gap, waiting for something, a boring meeting, standing in line. That restlessness isn't the enemy, Master Feng said. It's just energy, arriving with nowhere assigned to go yet. The phone happens to be the easiest possible place to send it. It asks nothing of you and answers instantly. That's not a moral failure on your part. That's water finding the lowest point in the landscape exactly like it's supposed to. So I'm just supposed to feel restless and do nothing about it? You're supposed to stop being surprised by it and stop pretending the fix is refusing to feel it, Master Feng said. The restlessness is going to arrive whether you check the phone or not. The only real choice is what's sitting there, easy enough to reach when it does. I need something I can actually do, Theo said. Not just a nicer way to think about it. Master Feng was quiet for a moment, still watching the jar. Before I give you that, he said, answer me one more thing honestly. When the restlessness shows up, right before you reach for the phone, what is it usually asking you to leave? Theo thought about it. The hard part, he said slowly. The part where I don't know if what I'm making is any good yet, or a boring stretch where nothing's happening and I just have to sit in it. Then the phone was never really the problem, Master Feng said. It's just the nearest door out of a room you didn't want to be standing in. The thing driving all of this isn't a dopamine habit. It's an exit from the discomfort of not knowing yet, from the plain boredom of an ordinary hour, from work that hasn't proven itself worthwhile yet and might not. You're not addicted to the phone, not really. You're escaping the work, and the phone is simply the fastest way out of the room. 3 shifts, Master Feng said. None of them are about willpower because willpower was never the muscle you were missing. First, practice being present without an exit, in stretches so short they feel almost embarrassing. Not an hour of forced focus, 2 minutes sitting with a hard task, or with nothing at all, and simply not reaching for the door. You're not training focus yet. You're training your nervous system to discover that discomfort doesn't kill you, and that a restless minute left alone actually passes on its own, the same way mud settles if nobody puts a hand back in the water. Most people never learn this because they never once let an uncomfortable minute finish without escaping it first. Second, get comfortable with starting by starting absurdly small. The flinch you feel before opening the portfolio isn't laziness. It's the same reflex that pulls a hand back from something that might be hot. Your mind guessing before you've even begun that this might go badly, might prove something you don't want proven. You don't out-argue a reflex like that. You retrain it, the slow way, the same way you'd teach a hand to trust a stove again, by touching something barely warm first and finding out you survive it. 1 sketch, 1 paragraph, 10 unglamorous minutes with no goal beyond finishing them. Not because it's efficient, because it teaches the reflex, again and again, that starting is safe, long before it has to believe the whole project is. Third, And this is the one people resist the most, because it doesn't ask the urge to leave. It asks you to stop treating it like an enemy. That restless feeling right before you reach for the phone isn't a flaw to eliminate. It's information. It's usually pointing quite precisely at the exact thing you're avoiding, which means it's also pointing at the exact thing worth turning toward. Making peace with resistance doesn't mean liking it. It means no longer needing it gone before you're willing to act. You let it sit in the room with you, unwelcome and uncomfortable, and you work anyway, and you find out, usually within a few minutes, that it was never actually strong enough to stop you. It only ever felt that way because you'd never once tested it. That last one sounds like it's just asking me to feel bad and do it anyway, Theo said. It's asking you to stop needing to feel good first, Master Feng said. You kept waiting to feel ready before you'd sit still, before you'd start, before you'd tolerate any of it. Readiness was never going to arrive first. It shows up after, the same way this water doesn't clear because it decided to. It clears because for once, nobody reached back in. 6 weeks later, Theo still checks his phone more than he'd like. He isn't cured, and Master Feng never promised he would be. Nobody keeps the jar from ever getting bumped again. That was never actually the goal. What changed instead was smaller and stranger than he expected. He started sitting through 2 uncomfortable minutes at a time. No phone, no task, just the restlessness itself, until 2 minutes stopped feeling like something he needed to escape. Then he tried it at the start of the portfolio work before he felt ready, because he'd finally stopped waiting to feel ready first. The projects didn't get finished because he found a better system for blocking the apps. They got finished because he'd practiced in small, deliberate doses, the specific discomfort of staying in a hard room a little longer than instinct wanted to allow. 4 of them finished where there used to be none. Not from willpower, but from tolerance, built 2 uncomfortable minutes at a time. He still sees Master Feng at the pond sometimes, though less often now. The jar sits on the bench between them most days, and more often than not, by the time they've said everything they mean to say, it's gone clear. Nobody in this story deleted the apps for good, or found a version of willpower nobody else has access to. Theo still gets restless. He still sometimes checks his phone 40 times before lunch. That was never actually the measure of whether this worked. The real change was underneath that. He stopped mistaking the phone for the problem and started noticing what it had always been the exit from. The discomfort of work that hadn't proven itself yet. The plain boredom of an ordinary, unfilled hour. The small, ordinary hardship of not knowing if what he was making was any good. Wu Wei, in the end, wasn't a fancier way of telling him to try harder at not checking his phone. It was permission to stop fighting the urge directly and start building his capacity to stay in the room the urge was trying to get him out of. If you've ever felt like you already know exactly what you're doing to yourself and still can't seem to stop, this is worth hearing plainly. It was probably never a phone problem. It's an escape from discomfort problem, and the phone just happens to be the nearest door. You don't fix that by fighting the urge harder. You fix it the way Theo did. In short, deliberate, uncomfortable doses, staying 5 minutes longer than instinct wants, again and again, until the room isn't something you need to run from anymore. If this one found you at the right moment, there's more of these coming. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.